Friends, in all the previous classes, we have been discussing the vowels, consonants and the combination of vowels and consonants called consonantal vowels and a few words. Today, we shall see the numbers, singular and plural. Before that, we shall discuss the articles as we have in English. I think I can go back a little and then re-study the numerals. When we are discussing the combination of vowel wu with consonants, we had discussed the numbers. What is this? O, in, dru, ondru, one. Irandu, ira, indu, irandu. Now you have to remember the rule that a plosive assumes a soft sound after a nasal. That is why this ta becomes da. This is a nasal and so this is pronounced as du. I, ra, in, du, irandu, two. Mu, in, dru, moondru, three. Na, in, gu, nangu, four. I, in, du, aindu, five. Aru, six. Yeru, seven. Ittu, eight. O, in, pa, tu, ஒன்பது, nine. Here again you find this pa, because it has been preceded by two other letters, becomes ba and the other letter is also pronounced softly. O, in, pa, tu, ஒன்பது and then pa, itu, பத்து, 10. ஒன்று, இரண்டு, மூன்று, நான்கு, ஐந்து, ஆறு, ஏழு, எட்டு, ஒன்பது and 10. You will find all these numbers ending with the vowel u. That is why we discussed all these words under u category. The first number is onru, one. This is a number and this is being used as a numerical adjective also. Then it assumes another form. Oru, oru. Oru is the numerical adjectival form of onru. O-ir, or. This also means one in the adjectival sense. Now, where do we get these two words to qualify any noun? In English, you have articles a, an, and the. This an has the same meaning as a, but it is used only when the following word begins with a vowel, like an elephant or an ant. So, when the following word begins with a vowel, you make use of an instead of a, though both a and an mean the same, they are independent articles. So, also in Tamil, oru is used generally and or is used whenever the following word has a vowel in the beginning, like can you read this? Or, Ur. Ur is a town or a village, a habitat. This word begins with a vowel. So, naturally, or has been used. What is the logic behind this? This oru ends with u sound, that is a vowel sound. And if you have another vowel sound in the beginning of the following word, there will be a sort of hiatus, a sort of clash. That is why they put a consonantal ending word or as the qualifying numerical adjective. So, oru and or are the adjectival forms of ondru. Now that we have seen all the numbers except one, all are to be used in plural. So, how do we make a plural word out of a singular one? Let me give you some examples from English. The common method of adding s or es is employed to bring out a plural number, or in some cases there will be a deviation in plural like children, and another entirely a different word, mouse becoming mice. So, I am not going to give you all the lists from English. There are so many varieties of making a singular into plural in this language, but in Tamil we have got one word. I call it a word because it has its own sense, it has a meaning of its own. Ka, il, kal is the plural suffix. You know, suffix is to be added at the end of a word. So, when I add this kal to any noun, it becomes plural. Let me take that example. Ur plus kal, urgal. Mark my pronunciation. Ur plus kal, Oorgal. This is oor, it remains the same. Kal is added. This kal, this ka in this kal is preceded by other letters. So, naturally, this is pronounced differently. So, this is oorgal. In, on plus kal, ongal. On is male or man. So, ongal will be men. Pen plus kal, pengal, women. No change in the combination. Now, I want you to go back and remember these two words, and I will add one more. Can you read? Na, ing, ka, il, nangal. Ni, ing, ka, il, நீங்கள். A, va, ir, ka, il, avargal. Do you remember where we did read earlier? Perhaps you don't remember. When we discussed the first person, second person and third person, we came across these words. Nangal stands for first person plural. Neengal stands for second person singular and plural. If it is honorific, it is singular. If it is just plural, second person plural, and third person plural for human beings. This also means they, non-human beings, that is other beings. Third person plural. You will find a common feature in all these words, and that is this suffix. Kal is the suffix for plural. That is what we had in the beginning. And now we find the words, all the words which are plural in nature naturally contain this suffix. We shall have a few more examples and then find out the variations. Do you remember this word? Ka, in, kan, and I. Kangal. No change. Automatically they merge. Call. Do you remember? Call, a leg. Call plus kal, kalgal, legs, plural. All these words are consonantal ending, whether it is kan or call or oor. So, I will go in for a vowel ending word. We do, a vowel ending word. We do, we do. plus கள், வீடுகள். So also நாடு plus கள். And we have seen another word along with these earlier, that is காடு plus கள், காடுகள். Whether it is வீடுகள், நாடுகள் or காடுகள், the suffix is applied easily and the combination does not undergo any change either in pronunciation or in writing. Do you remember this word? Aru. Aru. Aru is a river. Aru plus கள், ஆறுகள். வழி. Do you remember that word? வழி. வழி. A path. வழிகள். Paths. Do you remember this? கதவு. 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 A door. கதவு plus கள், கதவுகள். So in all these combinations, the suffix கள் merged with the word without any difficulty. There was no change either in the form or in the pronunciation. Now we shall take up another list of words where a small change takes place. Pa-ra-im, param. Remember what param means? A fruit. Param plus kal, fruits. Now, I hope you remember, I listed certain letters, grouping them under one category. I call them relative letters. This ka has a relative letter, that is a nasalized form of this ka. Do you remember that? That is nga. So this nga and ka combination will be a smooth one. And here what happens? You have to stop with param and then kal. There is a sort of hiatus, a sort of break between these two words being pronounced together. So naturally, for an easy pronunciation, this ma assumes this sound. Param plus kal. Becomes parangal. So parangal are fruits. This can be extended to this type of words. Maram, a tree. Maram plus kal, marangal. Pa-da-im, padam plus kal, padangal. What is padam? A picture. Now read this. Pa-da-im, padam plus kal. Naturally this becomes ing. Padangal. Now look at these words. பழம் plus கள் பழங்கள், மரம் plus கள் மரங்கள், படம் plus கள் படங்கள், பாடம் plus கள் பாடங்கள். Note that this nasal ma becomes nga. This ma becomes nga in combination. This is one small variation. I shall take up another set of words where a different kind of change take place. This is kal. Kal is a stone. I add kal to kal. Now you must have a clear pronunciation of these words. Must try to use your knowledge of these words and then practice the pronunciation. Kal plus kal. Kal plus kal. Once again you find there is a stop, there is a break. So naturally you have to bring in a relative letter of this ka. You cannot bring in na here, absolutely not possible. So you must have a relative letter of ka of any sort, relative of any sort. You have a list like this: Rombar, ka, cha, ta, ta, pa and ra. These are surds or hot sounds. So this ka is related to ra. So naturally, if that is brought here, the pronunciation will be smooth. Instead of kal plus kal, it becomes karkal. So also pal plus kal, parkal. Pal is a tooth, parkal will be teeth. This is another set of words where you find a different kind of change taking place. One more category. Is e plus kal. Automatically this must be eagle, isn't it? Once this ka is preceded by another letter, it assumes the soft sound, so it must be eagle. So this eagle doesn't make any sense. So they introduce another letter, that is, they allow this ka to become doubled, and this is eagle. Remember what E is? E is a fly. Eagle. And one more example I will give. Poo plus kal becoming pookal. What is a poo? A flower. Pookal, flower. Now you have to remember this particular thing. Both E and poo are solitary letters, long vowels and appearing all alone. That's why I call them solitary letters. So E and poo being solitary and also long consonantal vowels, they take up the doubling of this ka in kal. So it becomes e-kal and u-kal. Now we conclude that cull is suffix by adding which you make a plural out of a singular noun. This has three types of appearances, where in one you have a natural combination of this cull with the word, and there is a slight change in the nasal, and there is a doubling. We shall see in the next class.